Your feet tingle at night. Your hands feel numb for no reason. And sometimes, you feel burning, stabbing, or electric pain that no doctor seems able to explain. If you are over 60 and this is happening to you, I need you to listen very carefully. Because what I'm about to tell you might save your nerves while you still can. Most people think neuropathy is something you just get when you get older. They think it's inevitable. They think it's genetics. They think it's just part of aging. But in many cases, that is not true. There is a hidden poison millions of seniors are exposed to every single day. A poison that slowly destroys nerve tissue, silently, over years. And the worst part is, most people are consuming it while believing they are eating healthy. Stay with me for the next 20 minutes, because by the end of this video, you will understand what the poison really is, why it damages nerves, how to identify it in your daily life, and the simple steps that can stop neuropathy from getting worse. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and for decades I've helped seniors struggling with burning feet, numb hands, tingling toes, balance problems, and the frightening loss of independence that comes when nerve damage progresses too far. Before we begin, I want you to do one quick thing for me. Comment your age and where you're watching from today, and tell me, have you experienced tingling, numbness, burning, or electric pain in your hands or feet? Because when we share our experiences, we help other seniors recognize the warning signs earlier. And with nerve damage, timing matters. Once nerve damage crosses a certain line, we do not get unlimited second chances. Now let me tell you about one of my patients. His name was Frank. Frank was 68 years old, recently retired, still active, still strong. But his feet burned at night. His toes felt numb during the day. And every now and then, he would get sharp electric pain shooting through his legs without warning. He went to his doctor. He was told it was probably aging, maybe circulation, maybe arthritis, maybe just one of those things. But Frank had a feeling something wasn't right. And he was correct. Because when we looked deeper, we discovered something that shocked him. Frank was being exposed to a daily poison, not a chemical spill. Not a rare toxin, not something dramatic. Something he consumed regularly, something he believed was harmless, something that was quietly damaging his nerves day after day. When we removed it, the damage did not reverse overnight, but something important happened. It stopped getting worse. And for Frank, that changed everything. Because stopping progression means preserving your ability to walk, to balance, to sleep, to stay independent. Now, I want you to understand something fundamental about nerves. Nerves are not wires. They are living tissue, delicate tissue, and they depend on three things to survive: oxygen, nutrients, and stable internal chemistry. Unlike skin or muscle, nerves heal very slowly. That means damage accumulates quietly. Long before you feel pain, tingling, or numbness, your nerves may already be under attack. And that brings us to the uncomfortable truth. The number one poison destroying senior nerves is not alcohol. It is not toxins from the environment. It is not heavy metals in most cases. The number one poison destroying your nerves is chronic blood sugar toxicity. And this is critical. You do not need to have diabetes for blood sugar to destroy your nerves. You only need repeated spikes. And millions of seniors experience those spikes every single day, without knowing it. Here is what happens. When blood sugar rises too high, sugar molecules begin attaching to nerve fibers. They also attach to the tiny blood vessels that feed your nerves. This creates inflammation. It creates oxidative stress, and it damages the protective coating around nerves, called myelin. Over time, nerves lose their ability to send clean signals. That is when tingling begins, then numbness, then burning, then pain, then balance problems, and then falls. One of the biggest myths in senior health is that neuropathy appears suddenly. It does not. It develops silently, often for years, while the poison keeps working in the background. Let me ask you a very important question. Have you ever been told, You're borderline diabetic. You're pre-diabetic. Your blood sugar is a little high, but not too bad. If you have, listen carefully, because that is often where nerve damage begins. In fact, modern research shows that pre-diabetes can cause nerve damage almost as often as full diabetes. The difference is, most people with pre-diabetes do not know they have it, and because they do not know, they do not change anything. They keep eating the same foods, they keep spiking blood sugar, and the nerve damage continues. Now, this is where many seniors get confused. They say, "But doctor, I eat healthy." And I believe them. Most of my patients truly believe they eat healthy. That is the problem. The poison is not obvious. It hides inside foods and habits that sound healthy on the surface. Let me walk you through how this poison works step by step. You eat something that spikes blood sugar. Your body releases insulin to push that sugar into cells. Over time, cells become resistant. Sugar stays in the bloodstream longer, and your nerves, especially the long nerves in your feet and hands, get exposed to toxic sugar levels again and again. The tiny blood vessels that feed those nerves become damaged. Oxygen delivery drops. Nerves slowly starve. And because this happens gradually, people do not connect the dots. They say, "It came out of nowhere," when in reality, it has been building for years. Now, you might be thinking something else. If blood sugar is so damaging, why doesn't everyone get neuropathy? Great question. And the answer is simple. It comes down to how often you spike blood sugar, how long you've been spiking it, and how resilient your nerve tissue is. Some nerves tolerate abuse longer than others. But once the damage crosses a threshold, symptoms appear. And often, they accelerate quickly. Now let's talk about where this poison comes from in daily life, because this is where most seniors are shocked. The first major source is liquid sugar, fruit juice, sweetened coffee drinks, sports drinks, and even healthy smoothies. Liquid sugar enters your bloodstream extremely fast because there is no fiber to slow it down. That creates sharp spikes, and those spikes directly harm nerves. Seniors are often told juice is easy nutrition, but in reality, it is one of the fastest ways to poison nerve tissue. The second major source is refined carbohydrates eaten alone. Bread, cereal, crackers, rice, pasta, especially when eaten without protein or fat. These break down into sugar quickly. Seniors are often advised to eat foods that are easy to digest, but easy digestion often means rapid sugar release, and that sugar has nowhere to go except into your bloodstream and onto nerve tissue. The third major source is constant snacking. When insulin stays elevated all day, your nerves never get a break. There is no recovery window. This is why grazing is especially harmful for nerve health. Nerves need stable conditions to survive. Constant sugar exposure keeps them inflamed. Now, I want to tell you something most people never hear. Some medications can quietly worsen nerve damage, not because the medication is bad, but because it interferes with nutrient absorption, especially B vitamins. Certain acid-blocking medications, metformin, and some antibiotics can deplete vitamin B12 over time. And vitamin B12 is essential for maintaining the protective coating around nerves. Without it, nerves become fragile and misfire. Let me tell you about another patient, Susan. She had numb feet for years. Doctors blamed aging. But when we tested her nutrient levels, she was severely deficient in B12. The cause was not her diet. It was a medication she had taken faithfully for years. Once corrected, her nerve damage stopped progressing. Not reversed, but stopped. And that made all the difference. Because neuropathy is rarely caused by one thing alone. It is usually a combination of blood sugar toxicity, inflammation, nutrient depletion, and poor circulation. But blood sugar toxicity is the accelerant. It is gasoline on the fire. And that is why this matters so much. Because nerves have a tipping point. Early damage may cause tingling. Later damage causes pain, balance problems, falls, and loss of independence. And once nerves die, they are extremely difficult to regenerate. That is why stopping the poison early is so critical. And when we come back, I'm going to show you the simple rules that can stop this damage from progressing. Not expensive supplements, not extreme diets, simple rules. The kind of rules that protect nerves without making your life miserable. So stay with me, because the next part is where everything becomes practical. Now, if blood sugar toxicity is the poison, what neutralizes it? What protects nerves? And what simple changes can you start today to stop neuropathy from progressing? Most people expect complicated answers. They expect extreme diets. They expect expensive treatments. They expect miracle supplements. But the truth is far simpler, and that is exactly why it gets ignored. Because simple things don't sell, and simple things don't sound exciting. But simple things are often what save you. Here is the first and most important step in protecting your nerves. Stabilize your blood sugar. Not aggressively lowering it, not chasing perfect numbers, not obsessing, but keeping it steady. Because nerves do not need perfection, they need consistency. Every sharp spike in blood sugar is like a small chemical burn to nerve tissue. The fewer spikes you have, the less nerve damage accumulates. And in many cases, that alone can slow or even halt progression. Now I'm going to give you the single most important rule I teach seniors with neuropathy, and most people have never heard it. Never eat carbohydrates alone. Not fruit, not bread, not crackers, not cereal, not oatmeal, not even healthy granola. Carbohydrates eaten by themselves hit your bloodstream too fast. Sugar rises sharply. Insulin surges. Inflammation increases. And nerve repair shuts down. But when carbohydrates are eaten with protein or healthy fat, absorption slows dramatically. The same food that harms nerves when eaten alone becomes far safer when eaten correctly. This is one of the biggest missing pieces in senior nutrition, because it explains why two people can eat similar foods and one develops neuropathy while the other does not. Sometimes it is not only what you eat, it is how you eat it. Let me give you a real example. One of my patients, James, 74 years old, came to see me because his legs felt weak and unsteady by early afternoon. He had burning feet at night, numb toes during the day, and he believed he was eating clean. Every morning he drank a smoothie: banana, mango, juice, yogurt, and he thought it was the healthiest thing in the world. But what he didn't realize is that liquid sugar hits the bloodstream before your muscles and nerves have any protection. So every morning, he was giving himself a massive sugar spike, then another spike at lunch, then another spike from snacks. And by evening, his nerves were inflamed. We removed the smoothie. We replaced it with eggs and vegetables in the morning. And we moved fruit to later in the day, only after a real meal. Within weeks, his nerve pain eased, his balance improved, and his energy lasted longer. Nothing magical happened. We simply stopped poisoning his nerves. Now, I want you to hear this clearly. The first major change that helps most seniors with neuropathy is eliminating liquid sugar. No juice, no sweetened drinks, no smoothies. Even 100% natural juice is still pure sugar without fiber. Fiber is what slows absorption and protects nerves. Without it, sugar hits fast and hard. Seniors often drink juice because it feels easy, gentle, and healthy. But in reality, it is one of the fastest ways to worsen neuropathy. If you want fruit, eat it whole, in small portions, and never on an empty stomach. Fruit after a meal is far safer than fruit as a snack. Now, the second major change is pairing carbohydrates correctly. Let me make this practical. If you want toast, do not eat toast by itself. Eat it with eggs, or peanut butter, or avocado. If you want oatmeal, do not eat oatmeal plain. Add protein, Greek yogurt, or nuts, or chia seeds. If you want fruit, do not eat fruit alone. Eat it after lunch or dinner, or pair it with cheese, yogurt, or nuts. This is not about removing all carbohydrates. This is about slowing the sugar release so your nerves are not attacked. Now, here is the third major step: nutrient protection. And this is critical. Because nerves require specific nutrients to maintain their structure and function, the most important nutrient for nerve protection is vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 supports the protective coating around nerves. Without enough B12, nerves become exposed, fragile, and misfire. And many seniors are deficient without knowing it, especially those taking acid blockers, or metformin, or those who have low stomach acid. But B12 is not the only nutrient nerves depend on. Magnesium supports nerve signaling and reduces cramping and twitching. Folate works alongside B12 to protect nerve tissue. Alpha-lipoic acid has been shown in multiple studies to reduce oxidative stress in nerves and improve neuropathy symptoms in some people. However, I need to give you an important warning. More is not always better. Some vitamins can worsen nerve problems if taken incorrectly. Vitamin B6 is a perfect example. In high doses, vitamin B6 can actually cause nerve damage, so please do not guess. Do not blindly buy a giant supplement stack online. Always consult your healthcare provider before starting new supplements, especially if you take medications. Now, here is the fourth step. Reduce chronic inflammation. Because inflammation makes nerve pain louder, it turns mild nerve irritation into severe burning. It amplifies pain signals, and it prevents repair. Highly processed foods, refined seed oils, and excess sugar fuel inflammation. On the other hand, foods like fatty fish, olive oil, vegetables, and spices like turmeric support calmer inflammatory pathways. Less inflammation means quieter nerves. Now, the fifth step is movement, but not the kind most seniors fear. You do not need intense workouts. You do not need to run. You do not need to lift heavy weights. In fact, extreme exercise can sometimes worsen symptoms. What nerves need is circulation. Gentle walking, especially after meals. Walking lowers blood sugar and improves blood flow to nerve tissue. Even 10 minutes can make a difference. Now, I want to pause here, because many seniors feel discouraged when they hear nerve damage heals slowly. That is true. Nerves regenerate very slowly, if at all. But stopping progression is just as powerful as reversing damage. Less pain, better sleep, improved balance, fewer falls. Those changes matter. One of the most harmful beliefs seniors are given is that nothing can be done. That belief itself becomes dangerous because it causes people to give up. And when people give up, the poison continues, and the damage accelerates. Let me share one more story. A woman in her early 70s came to me using a cane. She felt unsteady. She was terrified of falling. She had been told her neuropathy was permanent. We stabilized her blood sugar. We corrected nutrient deficiencies. We removed liquid sugar. And within weeks, her nerve pain reduced enough that she no longer feared walking short distances. She did not become pain-free, but she regained confidence. And confidence is life-changing. Because neuropathy is not just about pain. It is about independence. It is about feeling the ground under your feet. It is about trusting your legs. Once neuropathy progresses too far, falls become far more likely, and falls are one of the greatest threats to senior health and longevity. That is why timing matters. Early nerve damage responds better than advanced damage. Tingling and mild numbness are warning signs, not verdicts. They are signals telling you something needs to change. Now, I want to give you a simple action plan you can follow for the next 2 to 4 weeks. This is realistic. This is not extreme, and it works for most seniors. First, remove liquid sugar completely. No juice, no sweetened drinks, no smoothies. Second, pair all carbohydrates with protein or healthy fat. Never eat carbs alone. Third, eat fruit only after meals in small portions, never as a snack on an empty stomach. Fourth, walk for 10 minutes after eating when possible. Fifth, ask your doctor to check vitamin B12 levels, and if you are taking medications that may deplete B12, do not stop them. Just be aware and work with your doctor. Now observe what happens. Pay attention to symptoms. Many seniors notice less burning at night, improved sleep, and steadier balance within just a few weeks. Even small improvements matter, because they tell you the damage is not fixed in stone. Now, in the next part, I'm going to reveal the biggest fake healthy foods that spike blood sugar the fastest, and the mistake seniors make that keeps neuropathy getting worse even when they think they are eating well. So stay with me, because this next part could save you from years of worsening pain. Now, before we finish, I need to show you something that might surprise you, because many seniors hear what I just said, and they respond with, "Doctor, I don't drink soda. I don't eat candy. I don't eat junk food." And that is exactly why neuropathy is quietly spreading. Because the most dangerous blood sugar spikes often come from foods that sound healthy, foods that doctors, dietitians, and even family members recommend. Let me give you the biggest examples. The first fake healthy food is cereal. Even the ones labeled whole grain. Even the ones labeled heart healthy. Even the ones marketed to seniors. Most cereal is basically sugar and refined starch. It hits your bloodstream fast. And when seniors eat cereal alone in the morning, with milk and maybe a banana, they're creating a blood sugar explosion. And then they wonder why their feet burn at night. The second fake healthy food is oatmeal. Now, oatmeal can be healthy, but only when eaten correctly. Most seniors eat it plain, or with honey, or with raisins, or with fruit, and no protein, no fat. That becomes pure sugar in the bloodstream. If you want oatmeal, you must add protein. Greek yogurt, eggs on the side, nuts, chia seeds, something that slows absorption. The third fake healthy food is fruit juice. And I know this one hurts, because many seniors grew up believing juice is nutrition. But juice is one of the fastest ways to spike blood sugar. Even orange juice, even apple juice, even no sugar added juice, because it's still sugar, without fiber. Liquid sugar is the most aggressive form of sugar. It hits the bloodstream immediately, and nerves suffer. The fourth fake healthy food is smoothies. Smoothies are not health food for seniors with neuropathy. Most smoothies contain banana, mango, berries, juice, honey, and sometimes even protein powder. But it still hits the bloodstream too fast, and it spikes sugar sharply. If you are struggling with burning feet, tingling, or numbness, a smoothie every morning can keep neuropathy progressing, even if you do everything else right. The fifth fake healthy habit is snacking. Seniors are often told, eat small meals all day. But for nerve health, constant eating can be harmful because your insulin stays elevated all day, and nerves never get a recovery window. You never give your body a chance to stabilize. This is why many people feel worse at night, because their blood sugar has been spiking all day long. Now here is the most important point. Neuropathy is rarely caused by one single thing. It is usually a combination. Blood sugar toxicity, inflammation, nutrient depletion, poor circulation, and sometimes nerve compression. But blood sugar toxicity is the accelerant. It is gasoline on the fire. And if you do not remove it, no supplement in the world will save your nerves. No expensive cream, no miracle pill, no fancy therapy, because you're still feeding the poison. Now, I want to address something that many seniors are afraid to hear, and I say this with love and honesty. Neuropathy is not just pain. Neuropathy is a warning, because neuropathy is one of the strongest predictors of falls, and falls are one of the most dangerous events after 60. A fall can mean a broken hip, a head injury, a loss of independence, a nursing home, and in many cases, a rapid decline in health. So when your feet burn, when your toes go numb, when your balance feels off, your body is not being dramatic. Your nerves are telling you, something is damaging me, and you still have time to change the story. Now, let me summarize everything into one clear message. If you want to protect your nerves after 60, you must stop feeding the poison. And that poison is chronic blood sugar spikes. You don't need diabetes. You don't even need high blood sugar. You only need repeated spikes. And millions of seniors experience those spikes every day without knowing it. So here is your action plan, and I want you to write this down. Step 1. Remove liquid sugar completely. No juice, no sweetened drinks, no smoothies. Step 2. Never eat carbohydrates alone. Always pair them with protein or healthy fat. Step 3. Eat fruit only after meals, never as a snack on an empty stomach. Step 4. Walk for 10 minutes after meals when possible. Even slow walking helps. Step 5. Ask your doctor to check vitamin B12, especially if you take acid blockers, metformin, or other long-term medications. Step 6. Reduce inflammation. Less processed food, more real food. More sleep, more calm. Because inflammation makes nerves scream. Now, before we end, I need to say something very clearly. Anyone promising a miracle cure for neuropathy is not being honest. But anyone telling you nothing can be done is also wrong. There is a wide space in between, and that is where real progress lives. Because neuropathy is often the result of years of quiet damage. So improvement takes time, but stopping progression is powerful. And stopping progression is often achievable. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below with your age and where you're watching from. And tell me this, have you been told your nerve symptoms are just aging? Or did you realize blood sugar could be damaging your nerves even without diabetes? Also, tell me, what is the one thing you are going to change starting today? Is it juice? Is it cereal? Is it snacking? Is it eating carbs alone? Because your comment helps this community, and you are not alone in this. And if this video helped you understand what's really happening, please share it with someone you care about. So many seniors are suffering needlessly because they've been told nothing can be done. But knowledge like this can change lives. And finally, if you want more evidence-based strategies for senior health, for blood sugar control, for nerve protection, for heart health, and for living stronger after 60, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'm Dr. Emily Carter. Stay strong. Stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.